So to wrap my story up, all that healthy mukbanging I just did, and you would think I would be full because I ate all but one. But yeah, in the half hour it took me to get resettled to wrap this video up, I went and grabbed 2 of these garlic bread twists. Ugh, I know it's terrible. So I'm just admitting to the fact that I'm not just having this one. I had another one. I scarfed another one down before I turned the camera back on. But since I've been doing the right thing, girl, my portion control is on bleak. Even with my meditation. And when I'm dosing with the legit, I have even more portion control. It's crazy. It is throwing down. Y'all might be able to hear it. Oh, man. That ain't nothing but Harvey, boy. It's Harvey knocking on the door. Harvey knocking on the door, comma, I suppose. Now Siri catch that D. Not the sexy D, but the D. When I said I suppose. And I accidentally, my tongue accidentally put a D on there. I supposed. But that she can catch. That Siri can catch. But she don't speak the regular English I speak. She's shady. Siri is shady. Yeah, I think the last thing I was saying was that you don't really want to juice with the Callaloo because it'll turn your vegetable juice milky. And that is not a flavor somehow that you're looking for in your vegetable juice. I'm more than sure for most of you. After that year of the accidental one that I let grow and harvest from, the following year I planted several. Didn't need to plant several because I had a forest. I had a Callaloo forest by the end of the season. So I was like, oh, okay, so next year I only need to plant a few of these and I should be good, right? But what had happened was the forest was so thick that it reseeded itself. Yes, girl, and tropical leafy green superfood has reseeded itself in the Midwest. Hence being the Callaloo queen, but I'm a couple of other more kind of queens, girl. Don't ask. And that was just this past year, this past season's experience I had where the first deliberate batch of my Callaloo crop overwintered and reseeded itself for this year in abundance. But y'all know me, I just can't throw away seeds and plants. So I just harvested them in big bunches. I just waited till all the little plants got big enough and just harvested it as a whole plant where I could just cut the roots off and then just easily wash and harvest them. Oh, they're so easy. That's another thing. Let's go there too while we're at it. Not only are they prolific, like I'm talking about ridiculously prolific, cut and come type where the more you cut, the more that will come off of one plant. Branches, it'll be branches on branches on branches. Cut it back as far as you want, as often as you want. And like I said, you only need to plant a few of them to get continuous and robust harvests. And apparently, I don't think it's just for me, but I'm gonna pat myself on the back because I never even y'all heard the story about how it came to be. I didn't decide to grow Callaloo because there's a bunch of people out here growing it, and so why not? I had this entire lifespan of experiences that led me to the personal individual idea to just plant them. And in this Callaloo doing what it does, it occurs to me that moringa is as aggressive in terms of growth. And so I was like, you know what? Because again, it's the Midwest. This is not a tropical land, and these are tropical plants and trees that I'm talking about. So like, how are you going to do that? But why is that an issue if they grow as robust and as quickly as they grow? So once you get but P.S. moringa hates a transplant. So you might want to be mindful of putting that bitch where you want her to be for her lifespan. Or if you are going to do transplant, make sure you let it dry out in the smaller part when it gets to whatever size it's going to get, so that you can bring up the whole root ball connected. And that's your best bet in having a moringa survive its transplant. I should give moringa it's its own video, huh? So there's that. But the ultimate point is that with Callaloo, and like Callaloo is a tropical plant, but I can grow it every year. The only difference is that I'll just have seasons of it. And since it's as abundant as it is, why don't I harvest enough to be able to, freeze and store if that's what's gonna be. And then and on top of that, I'll have some in the wintertime. Not only am I in a zone where nobody has it, but I have it in the wintertime of that zone. Who in the Midwest in the dead of winter can say, oh, I think I want a little Callaloo for dinner tonight? and go in the freezer and get some and have some Callaloo, Jamaican Callaloo for dinner in the Midwest in the dead of winter. I can. Callaloo Queen can. So as I thought about that, growing it every year, I thought, well, if you know how fast moringa trees grow, I've seen those bitches give me 3 inches a day. I think the most I've seen one give me was maybe, it seemed like it grew 6 inches in a day. I shit you not. 6. The point is, when moringa plants are established and they begin to grow, they grow rapidly. And since you have winters that moringas can't handle, what difference does it make? Get you a shitload of seeds and plant them every season. So then when it does grow very quickly, even as a small tree, you'll have enough shit to harvest to hold you over for the winter, much like you do with the Callaloo. Come on, come on. Sometimes we gotta break out of this group think to pay attention to the simplest of solutions. But I'm not gonna turn this into a consciousness video. But just think, just common sense, morally balanced, think about it, certain things. And these amazing solutions are practical resolves for issues that aren't really issues in the first place, but you didn't realize it because you didn't recognize the God in you. Okay, I'm doing too much right now. The point is, Callaloo is bomb, and I have access to it whenever I want to at this stage in the game, and it's lit. And that's how I became the Callaloo Queen, but it is well deserved. Because I don't know how long this video going to be when I get through with it. It's going to be a long ass video. And it's not going to be just because it was a sesh. It's going to be because it really was a legit journey. Through childhood delicacies of poke salad to knowledge of whether anybody else has this experience. And those who do, their confusion or differing experiences with it. Or other people's interpretation of it, all the way to a journey through to a whole different country in Jamaica, albeit the Florida border of it, who hit me up onto some cultural shit of my people that I had no idea, and still had no idea because I still didn't have personal experience. But in a whole nother state, Chocolate City, was where I was able to follow up on that information I had been given about said delicacy. To my delight to find that it was amazing and healthy. Who knew? My people knew. That's who. Through to growth spurt and personal development through my life with a wonderful black man to pique my interest in domestic areas that I would have never touched with a 10-foot pole as a developing tomboy child. In an effort to want to have those journeys with him, I ventured into them and open a door of all sorts of opportunities and experiences that I'm able, many of which I'm able to share with you through today's age of technology. Part of that domestic growth being through gardening and therefore culinary arts, because it is art. It's all art. These interests of passion, that creative interests of passion that we develop, are all art.